March 2026. The Valspar Championship at the Copperhead Course was supposed to be just another stop on the PGA Tour calendar. A tough course, a strong field, and 4 days of controlled pressure, nothing the best players in the world weren't used to. But on a quiet afternoon in Florida, one ruling turned the entire tournament upside down. The conditions were perfect, the leaderboard was tight, and the round was moving at the slow, methodical rhythm that defines professional golf. Every shot mattered, but nothing felt out of the ordinary. That is, until one moment forced everyone to stop and look twice. A PGA Tour star stood over his ball, preparing for what should have been a routine shot. The lie wasn't easy, but at this level, difficult positions are part of the job. He settled his feet, took a breath, and began his setup. Then something so small happened that most people watching didn't even notice it at first. The ball moved. For a split second, nobody reacted. The cameras kept rolling. The crowd stayed quiet. Even the commentators weren't sure if they had actually seen anything. But in professional golf, the smallest movement can mean everything. Within moments, officials were called in. The discussion began. Replays were shown, players nearby stopped to watch, and suddenly what looked like an ordinary shot had become the biggest moment of the tournament. When the ruling was confirmed, the reaction was immediate. A penalty stroke, one shot added to the scorecard, just a single number. But in a sport where tournaments are decided by inches, that number can change everything. The commentators sounded stunned, fans online exploded with questions, and on the course, you could feel the shift in energy, because this wasn't just a penalty, it was the moment the Valspar Championship stopped being predictable and started becoming drama. In golf, the smallest movement can cost everything, and on this hole, one tiny mistake became the biggest story of the day. It happened on one of the most demanding stretches of the Copperhead Course, a place where even the best players in the world know there is no room for hesitation. The fairways are narrow, the rough is unforgiving, and every shot feels like it carries more weight than the last. When the PGA Tour star stepped up to his ball, he knew this wasn't going to be easy. His drive had left him in a difficult position, the ball sitting awkwardly in pine straw just off the fairway. It wasn't unplayable, but it was the kind of lie that forces a player to be careful with every movement. One wrong step, one slip of the club, and the shot could get away from you. He walked into the shot slowly, studying the angle, checking the ground under his feet. The crowd stayed quiet. The cameras zoomed in. This was the kind of moment golf fans love, a test of control, patience, and precision. Then it happened. As he settled into his stance, the ball moved slightly, not a dramatic roll, not something obvious to the naked eye. Just a tiny shift, the kind of movement that could easily go unnoticed in real time. For a second, it seemed like nothing at all. The player backed away, looked down, and froze. He had seen it. Under Rule 9.4, if a player causes the ball to move, even by accident, it's a penalty. One stroke, automatic. No debate about intent, no exceptions for pressure. Just the rule. What made the moment even more shocking was what happened next. No official had called it yet. No one in the crowd reacted. The broadcast wasn't even sure, but the player knew. He called it on himself. Within minutes, an official arrived. The replay was checked and the ruling was confirmed. One penalty stroke added to the card. Just like that, the leaderboard changed. In a game built on honesty, he did the right thing. But on the PGA Tour, doing the right thing can sometimes cost you everything. By the rule book, the penalty was correct, but to many watching, it didn't feel right. Within minutes of the ruling at the Valspar Championship, the conversation stopped being about the shot itself and started being about the rule. On paper, the decision was simple. Rule 9.4 is one of the clearest rules in golf. If the player causes the ball to move, even slightly, it's a one-stroke penalty. No intent required. No warning, no second chances. And that's exactly why the moment became so controversial. Because while the rule was technically correct, the situation felt anything but fair. As the replay was shown again and again on the broadcast, commentators began to question what they were seeing. The movement was tiny, almost invisible, the kind of thing you would never notice without slow motion cameras and high definition zoom. One analyst pointed out that in past eras, the shot probably would have been played without anyone ever realizing the ball had shifted at all. Another reminded viewers that modern golf is different now. Every movement is recorded. Every angle is reviewed. Every decision can be replayed frame by frame, and that's where the debate started. Fans watching at home flooded social media within seconds. Some praised the honesty. Others couldn't believe that such a small movement could change the outcome of a professional tournament. The phrase came up again and again. The rule might be right, but the moment felt wrong. Even former players weighed in, divided on the call. Some defended the ruling, saying golf has always been built on strict rules and personal responsibility. Others argued that the modern game has become too technical, too dependent on cameras, too harsh for situations that no human eye could judge in real time. Moments like this are rare on the PGA Tour. Not because the rules don't exist, but because when they appear at the wrong time, they can feel bigger than the tournament itself. And suddenly, the Valspar Championship wasn't just about who would win, it was about whether the game itself was changing. You could see it instantly. The moment the penalty was confirmed, everything changed. At first, the reaction was subtle. A small shake of the head, a slow walk away from the ball, the kind of body language only experienced golf fans recognize. But on the PGA Tour, where every movement is watched by cameras and every expression gets analyzed, it was obvious that the ruling had hit harder than anyone expected. Just minutes earlier, he had looked completely in control. His tempo was steady, his decisions confident, his round building in the right direction. The kind of rhythm players talk about when everything feels automatic. Then the penalty came, and that rhythm disappeared. Golf is different from most sports. There's no clock to run out, no teammates to hide behind, no way to reset with a substitution. When something goes wrong, the player has to carry it with him for the rest of the round. Every shot after that moment is played with the memory of the last one still in your head. And that's exactly what started to happen. His next swing looked tighter, the follow-through shorter, the walk to the next tee a little slower. Commentators began to notice it right away, pointing out how quickly the energy had changed. One moment he was attacking the course, the next, he looked like he was trying not to make another mistake. After the hole, the frustration finally showed. Not an outburst, not anything dramatic, just a few quiet words to his caddy and a stare back toward the spot where the ball had moved. The kind of look every golfer understands, replaying the moment over and over, wondering if there was anything he could have done differently. At this level, confidence is everything, and sometimes it only takes one ruling to crack it. As the round continued, the leaderboard started to shift. Shots that normally find the fairway drifted into the rough, putts that usually drop stopped just short. The tournament didn't just feel different for him. It felt different for everyone watching. The Valspar Championship will be remembered for the scores, but this moment will be remembered for the question it left behind. Almost immediately after the ruling, the conversation spread far beyond the Copperhead Course. Analysts weren't just talking about the leaderboard anymore. Players weren't just talking about the next round. The debate had shifted to something bigger, the rules of the game itself. Golf has always been built on precision and honesty. It's one of the few sports where players are expected to call penalties on themselves even when nobody else sees the mistake. For generations, that tradition has been part of what makes the game unique. But moments like this force people to ask whether the modern version of golf is becoming too exact, too technical, too unforgiving. The Valspar incident quickly became the biggest talking point of the week. Former players argued on television about whether the rule should be applied differently when the movement is barely visible. Commentators questioned how much influence slow-motion replay should have in a sport that was never designed to be judged frame by frame. Fans online were split, some defending the ruling, others saying the punishment didn't match the moment. And the players noticed too. More than ever, professionals talk about how much pressure exists in modern golf. Every shot filmed, every decision reviewed, every mistake replayed from 10 different angles. The margins have never been smaller and the consequences have never felt bigger. When a single movement of the ball can change the outcome of a tournament, it raises a difficult question about where the line should be drawn. Because this wasn't just about one penalty, it was about the direction the sport is going. The Valspar Championship will go down as another stop on the PGA Tour schedule, another winner, another trophy, another final scorecard. But for many fans, the lasting memory won't be the champion. It will be the moment that made everyone stop and ask something golf rarely questions. In modern golf, are the rules protecting the game or hurting it?